525,000 people. That is the entire population of this nation. Smaller than a single neighborhood in most major cities. Tonight, they did something no team their size has ever done before in the history of men's football. This is the complete story of Cape Verde's incredible journey to the World Cup knockout stage. Let us break it down. Let us start with where this story actually began, because Cape Verde did not sneak into this tournament. Cape Verde's route was not built on fortune alone. They reached the World Cup by winning their entire African qualification group, finishing ahead of Cameroon, a regular name in World Cup history, ESPN. They did not come through the back door of intercontinental playoffs. They earned their place outright. ESPN, no shortcuts, no lucky draws, just pure deserved qualification. And once they actually arrived at this tournament, Cape Verde refused to act like tourists. They held Spain, the reigning European champions, to a stunning 0-0 draw in their opening match. ESPN. The football world barely had time to process that shock before Cape Verde struck again. Cape Verde took a surprise 21st-minute lead against Uruguay when Kevin Pina scored their first-ever World Cup goal from a 30-yard free kick. NBC Sports. It was the first-ever goal in World Cup history for this tiny island nation. Yahoo Sports. A moment that will be remembered forever in Cape Verde's football history. But Uruguay did not go away quietly. Uruguay struck twice shortly before halftime, through Maxi Araujo and Agustin Canobio to seemingly take control of the match. NBC Sports. 2-1. It looked like Cape Verde's fairy tale might finally be ending. But then something remarkable happened. In the 61st minute, Uruguay's veteran goalkeeper Fernando Muslera inexplicably raced out of his own goal, and Cape Verde substitute Helio Varela took full advantage, rolling the ball into an empty net. NBC Sports. 2-2. Against one of South America's most historic football nations. Cape Verde coach Pedro Leitão Brito reflected afterward on what this moment meant far beyond his own team. "This is something we owe to other smaller national teams," he said through an interpreter. "Teams that struggled to qualify for a world tournament?" Yahoo Sports. This brings us to the absolutely decisive final match day where everything would be settled. With qualification on the line against Saudi Arabia, Cape Verde held their nerve once again, securing a 0-0 draw. ESPN. It was not always pretty. Laros Duarte and Gary Rodriguez had genuine chances to win the match outright, but neither side could produce the quality needed to break the deadlock. ESPN. A nervy, tense 90 minutes. But it was exactly enough. And then, in a completely different stadium, the result that would change everything for Cape Verde unfolded. Alex Baena scored in the 42nd minute for Spain via another costly error from Uruguay goalkeeper Fernando Muslera. FIFA. Uruguay's World Cup campaign ended with a 1-0 defeat, finishing with just 2 points across all 3 group matches. ESPN. Uruguay, ranked 19th in the world by FIFA, became the highest-ranked team to be eliminated from the entire tournament so far. ESPN, a football giant, going home early, while the smallest team in their group celebrated. Let us pause and truly appreciate the scale of what Cape Verde has actually accomplished here. Cape Verde finished second in Group H with 3 draws from 3 matches, behind Spain, and became the smallest nation ever to reach the knockout stage of a men's World Cup, so ESPN. For a country of around 525,000 people spread across 10 islands off the west coast of Africa, this moment stretched far beyond football itself. ESPN. Cape Verde, a former Portuguese colony until 1975, was already one of the smallest nations to ever qualify for this tournament. Now, on their tournament debut, they stand in the round of 32. ESPN. 3 draws, 0 losses, and an entire nation now etched permanently into World Cup history. The financial contrast behind this achievement is honestly staggering. According to Transfermarkt squad valuations, Cape Verde's entire squad is valued at just $63.2 million. ESPN. Compare that figure to almost any major football nation, and the gap becomes almost unbelievable. This was never about money. This was about heart, discipline, and an unbreakable team spirit. Now let us talk about the man who has become the face of this entire underdog story. Goalkeeper Vozinha has become one of this tournament's most unlikely cult figures. His rise has been part performance, part personality, and part the kind of emotional thread that World Cups produce better than any other sporting event. ESPN. Fans have carried placards of his face throughout the tournament. One young supporter held up a sign reading, "In Vozinha we trust." Others have painted his name directly across their own bodies. ESPN. A goalkeeper turned national symbol in the space of just 3 matches. And there is something deeply human about his personal story, too. His mother was reportedly in the stands again for this match after visa issues had previously forced her to miss Cape Verde's earlier draw against Spain. ESPN. The scale of attention surrounding him is extraordinary for a player who only turned professional at 26 years old, played last season in Portugal's second division, and had actually nearly retired from international football entirely after being dropped from the squad during a difficult Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign. ESPN. A man who almost walked away from this sport forever, now stands as one of the most beloved figures of this entire World Cup. So now, let us talk about what comes next, because the reward for this achievement is as massive as it is intimidating. Their reward is as daunting as it is glamorous. Cape Verde will face Lionel Messi's Argentina in Miami on July 3rd. ESPN. Cape Verde's story has already made World Cup history, but Argentina represents a completely different level of examination. ESPN. Argentina are expected to finish top of Group J and will enter the round of 32 as heavy favorites. Their squad value, experience, and recent World Cup pedigree all dwarf what Cape Verde brings to the pitch. ESPN. The defending world champions. Led by the man who just broke football's all-time scoring record, standing between Cape Verde and the round of 16. But here is something worth remembering before anyone writes this story's ending too quickly. Cape Verde has already drawn with European champions Spain. Cape Verde has already come from behind against Uruguay twice in the same match. Nobody expected them to even be standing here in the first place. My take on what comes next. This match against Argentina will almost certainly be the toughest test Cape Verde has ever faced. But this is a team that has spent this entire tournament proving that expectations mean absolutely nothing once the whistle blows. Whatever happens against Argentina, Vozinha and Cape Verde will remember the summer of 2026 for the rest of their lives. ESPN. And honestly, so will the rest of the football world. That is the complete story of Cape Verde's historic journey to the World Cup knockout stage. The smallest nation, the biggest heart, the unforgettable run that nobody saw coming. Drop a comment right now and tell me, do you think Cape Verde can shock Messi's Argentina too? Subscribe to this channel for more incredible World Cup stories, highlights, and breaking news. This is your World Cup 2026 coverage, and we will see you in the next one.